Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia here, and welcome back to the Overwatch League Roundup, Stage 2, Week 5 preview. Okay, so, this is the last week of Stage 2, which means that after this week we have reached the halfway point in the season. And that seems like it's come around really quick. Probably mainly because we haven't had as many games as we did last season. Obviously we're going to play, 26, 28? I can't remember what the exact number is now, but not 40. Let's put it that way. This week is back to a big complement of fixtures, so I should get on with it, because otherwise this is going to be a long video. So, all times are in British summertime. Starting off on Friday, May the 3rd, we have at 1:30 AM, or 2:30 in Europe, we have Dallas Fuel taking on the Florida Mayhem. This should be Dallas Fuel sealing a playoff spot. Everything but, anyway. I don't see anyone but Fuel winning that one. Florida, they're still all over the place. I think they will finish bottom, if not second from bottom, with no wins in this stage. Second up, we have at 3:15 or 4:15 in Europe, Philadelphia Fusion taking on San Francisco Shock. This is the problem for Fusion. They're on a 3-3 record, and they have to beat Shock to try and get into the stage playoffs. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to beat Shock. So I think this is where Shock grab the win and dump Philadelphia Fusion out of stage playoffs. Sorry, Philadelphia. At 5 AM we have, or 6 AM in Europe, we have the Guangzhou Charge taking on the Houston Outlaws. This is a difficult one. Both teams have been really poor this stage. But at the moment, I think on the day, Houston will probably be poorer. So I think it'll be really close. It'll be a bad game. But I think Guangzhou should be able to get the win over Houston. Moving on to Saturday at 1:30 BST or 2:30 in Europe, we have Boston Uprising taking on the Los Angeles Gladiators. Boston Uprising have to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Gladiators looking to go unbeaten this stage. It's a series that Gladiators really could drop. It wouldn't surprise me to see them lose. But I think Gladiators will have the edge over Boston. Boston is still rank outsiders to get into those stage playoffs. So, yeah, I will go for a Los Angeles Gladiators win, but Boston will give everything, as they always do. At 3:15 or 4:15 in Europe, we have the Toronto Defiant taking on the Vancouver Titans. Yeah, Toronto, this is where, I mean, you're all but out anyway on a 1-4 record, but you're not going to beat Vancouver, and you need to, so Vancouver win here, and I'm afraid that's the end of Toronto Defiant's stage. At 5 AM, we have the Shanghai Dragons taking on the Washington Justice. That'll be 6 AM in Europe, obviously. Now, if everything goes to plan, this, you would think, would be Shanghai Dragons putting themselves instead for a playoff place, because do we really expect Washington to beat Shanghai? No. And if Shanghai do win over Washington, that'll put them on a 4-2 record, which puts them right in the mix. Moving on, the next day, or it's actually the same day, but the next day in America, 8 PM in Europe, or 9 PM, 8 PM in the UK, 9 PM in Europe, I'll get there in a minute, London Spitfire taking on their bogey team in Houston Outlaws. So, London have never won against Houston in the regular season. They've always had trouble dealing with them for some reason, don't ask me why. But if there's any time you want to break that streak, it's now. Houston have only won 2 maps all stage. So, as much as in last season I probably would have gone for Houston to win this, I just can't go against London. I mean, yes, they had a shake against Chengdu, but London should win this, and they should win this comfortably. And if they don't, then I don't know what Houston do to put London off, but they've got the magic touch somewhere. At 10:15 in the UK, or 11:15 in Europe, we have the Atlanta Reign taking on the New York Excelsior. We didn't see Atlanta Reign last week, nor did we see the New York Excelsior. New York Excelsior already qualified. Atlanta Reign, they're still mathematically in it, but it's highly unlikely that Atlanta are going to be able to get there. I would expect New York Excelsior to win this one, although they did lose to Atlanta for the first time this season. They lost to Atlanta 2 weeks ago now. So, Atlanta, if they do it again, that really would be interesting, but I think New York will learn from their mistakes. And at 11:30 in the UK, or midnight in Europe, we have the Seoul Dynasty taking on the Vancouver Titans. It's a It's not a must-win for Seoul, but if you can win, then you put yourself in a fantastic position. But it's Vancouver. I don't think we're expecting Seoul to beat Vancouver, are we? So, I'll go for a Vancouver win here. Again, I don't see Vancouver losing, so I think Vancouver will be top of the standings, apart from perhaps San Francisco, as long as they don't drop maps. So, it looks like it's going to be Vancouver and San Francisco at the top right now. Moving on, we have at 1:15 in the morning in the UK, or 2:15 in Europe, we have the Chengdu Hunters taking on the Los Angeles Valiant. It's an absolute must-win for Chengdu if they want stage playoffs. If they lose, they are out of it. Simple as that. Well, they're not mathematically out of it, but they'll be out of it. Valiant, again, they're not mathematically out of it, but they're not going to make it. Let's be honest. It would be an absolute miracle. This is an interesting one, because Valiant, yes, they had a tough time last week, but they are bouncing back. They are getting better. So I wouldn't put it past Valiant to win this one, but I think Chengdu will just have the raw energy that propels you when you're in the chase for playoffs. So I think Chengdu will win that one. And then moving on, we have, for the next day in America, or the same day in Europe, we have 8 PM in the UK, or 9 PM in Europe, we have the Toronto Defiant taking on the Paris Eternal. So, Paris not out of it. Toronto, by this point, you'd expect to be out of it, because they probably lost to Vancouver. I don't know about this one. Paris are so inconsistent. That's my biggest problem with them. They are ridiculously inconsistent, and Toronto, yes, they've had a bad stage, but this could be, although it's the last game of the stage, a platform for them to build off of if they could win it. So, do you know what? I'm going to stick my neck out and go Toronto. Don't know why, just got a feeling. 10:15 in the UK, or 11:15 in Europe, we have the Washington Justice taking on the Boston Uprising. Now, this could be a big game for Boston if Boston can win against the Gladiators, because they'd be still in with a chance of stage playoffs, possibly at this point. Washington, we already know, are out of it. I would not expect anyone but Boston to win this one. I don't think Washington are quite there. They're making some good signings, it's just not quite knitting together right now. So, they could be something to look out for in the future, Washington, but not right now. At 11:30 in the UK, or midnight in Europe, we have the Shanghai Dragons taking on the San Francisco Shock. Again, this could be a big game for Shanghai, because if they can win that, and win their game against Washington, which they should do, they would almost definitely be in stage playoffs. So, there is a lot to play for Shanghai there, and that is a game where San Francisco might step off the pedal slightly, because they're already qualified. These two games this week, they could not play them and still be qualified. So, it's not an easy week for Shock. It's two potential banana skins, but I think this game against Shanghai will be tougher than the game against Fusion, because I don't trust Fusion to ever pull the goods out when you need it. So, I don't know. I still think Shock will win that game, but I think it'll be really close. But it wouldn't spell disaster for Shanghai, depending on other results. And then the last game of the stage, regular stage anyway, will be the Seoul Dynasty taking on the Hangzhou Spark at 1:15 in the morning in the UK, or 2:15 in Europe. And this game will be big, because currently you have Hangzhou on a 4-2 record. Seoul by then will possibly be on a 3-3 record. But Hangzhou have a poor back differential. So, this could decide who out of either Seoul or Hangzhou go into the stage playoffs. So that'll be an absolute blockbuster of a match, I'm hoping. And I don't know who will win it, because Hangzhou looked good last week. They did look decent, and if it goes to a map 5, you have to back Hangzhou. They've got that knack, like Philadelphia Fusion had last year, of getting through those map 5s and winning them. So, I don't know. That's a really difficult one. That's a really, really difficult one to call. It's a big decider to tell you where Seoul and Hangzhou are in terms of their quality right now as well. I'll go for Hangzhou. I'll believe in the boys in pink. But honestly, that's the toughest game to call all week. It really, really is. Interesting game, that one. But that is week 5 of stage 2. It is the last week, obviously. We're reaching our halfway point. And this is the last stage where everything becomes so very clear-cut. Now, what do I mean by that? Stage 3 and 4, the schedules start to get a lot tougher for the bigger teams. So in stage 3, I believe we see New York Excelsior versus London in the first week. So that should be insane. We have Vancouver versus Los Angeles Gladiators, which will not be easy for Vancouver. And then we also have, somewhere along the line, we get London versus Excelsior again, which is really interesting. I think New York Excelsior versus Dallas Fuel won't be easy. You've got Vancouver have to play Gladiators twice. And then in stage 4, you will get the blockbuster New York Excelsior versus Vancouver Titans. So, and also London versus Vancouver. So Vancouver's the most difficult stage is stage 4. Possibly New York's most difficult stage is stage 3. So it's going to start getting a bit mixed up at the top. And it should be really interesting. Really, really interesting. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. See you then.